Hi guys, I am Miriam Novak and thank you so much for coming back to see me do my job. The last two episodes, the feedback was fantastic. I have read all of your comments, I'm getting through them and replying to them. And I'm taking on board what you're suggesting and trying to see if there's things that are coming into the museum that maybe I can work on and show you. Today though, I did speak about this on I think it was when I was doing the book. So we're getting a little bit of movie memorabilia into the museum, not just theatre stuff. And today we have a movie that has a very special place in my heart. I'm not going to tell you what movie it is, I just want you to see the item and see if you can guess. So without further ado, I will set up my workstation. As you can see, we've moved because the area I was working in before, they've now utilised the room that was behind me. You could see a door, so it's not suitable to work there anymore. So now we are in a new area, which is lovely. So the item I am working on today, it won't click anything, so usually if it's sequins I will use the smooth side. If I'm using water or anything, I will use the smooth side, otherwise I will use the more softer side. However, I am going to be depilling very carefully this item, and if I use the soft side then the fibres are going to stick to that, and then when I use it in future it's going to cause more problems. So I'm going to use a nice smooth side to make cleaning up a lot easier. So first of all, I'll get my gloves on. I've got a nice little shelf here that I can use now. So as always, some white gloves. We will be using some white tissue once it's done, so I've got this prepared for wrapping it up. And then I'll be using this cutthroat razor. So I'm just going to prepare the razor now before I put my gloves on, because it's a lot more difficult when you have the gloves on. The reason we use the cutthroat razors is because we can get a lot more precision. You can get depillers like electric ones, like battery ones, but because they're battery operated and it's just a case of going over the material, sometimes you don't really have the level of control that you might want, so we actually use a cutthroat razor. Unfortunately, I am missing another end of the screw, so I'm holding it slightly peculiar. It shouldn't affect how I use it though. So the razor stays without the actual blade in it. Just going to just in case it's being used for any work that involves any moisture, and it could have residues and things on it, so I'm just going to give it a nice clean there. And then while that dries, I'm going to get a blade out. These blades come in a really cool wax paper and they're double-sided. Now it does say you can just fold them and snap them, but I don't have the best skill with that, so sometimes I tend to cut it. Yeah, they just, oh, it worked this time. Want to go back in. There we go. And that's ready for next time. So the razor just sits here, and then this one goes on top. I think it's moved. And then that's folded on top, and then you've got a really sharp razor there. So I'm just going to put that to one side. Get my gloves on. Okay, you ready to see it? So excited. Excuse the noise from outside, where we've got a new show that's coming in, and a lot of the props are coming in today. So this is the item. Obviously it's a very nice yellow skirt. So I'm just taking a first look at it. This item's not particularly delicate. Obviously I'll be super careful when I'm handling it, but it's not particularly delicate. It is 2 pieces of material hemmed with a zip. It's not particularly intricate. It doesn't have lots of beadwork or sequins, or it's not it's not like a bodice where it's lots of seams and things, so we don't have to be as careful with things like this, but I still will be extremely gentle with it. And all I'm doing is just looking at the areas that will need attention. So the first thing I'm going to do is go over it with a sticky roller, which I have here, because I can see there are hairs and things on it that need collected first before I start on actually depilling it. So all I'm going to do is really carefully start using the roller on it. So there is some sort of fibre now. Yeah. You've got to be careful because sometimes things that look like maybe a grey hair or a grey fibre can actually be like a very fine piece of elastic. Okay, I'm just going to turn it over. Now I have just noticed some sort of stain there. So what I'm going to do is just inspect it. I don't actually think it's a stain. Looking closer at it, it's almost if you get chocolate on you and you can scrape it off. Yeah, I can almost scrape that off. Just really carefully. That's practically come out there. That's good. I was worried I was going to have to get detergents and things on it. I'm just going the same way as the in so as not to create any damage. So I'll probably still go over that with a little piece of cotton and some water, and even if I just very gently So I've just removed the stained pilling, and there's very, very fine marks on there, which hopefully will come out with just a little bit of damp cotton working into the material. And again, I'm just going to get a new Yes, it can be very awkward when you've got gloves on. Quite often we've got toothpicks trying to get them off. Very awkward, so I'm just going to go over the back of the skirt. And you'll be surprised at how much you actually get off. So as I'm doing this, I'm just inspecting where the worst areas are. So ideally what I don't want to have to do is go over the entire skirt. There's some very small thread damage there. Very slight damage here. So I'm just going to look at maybe tidying that up, tightening it up and tidying it up, and then possibly threading that back in. And I think we have the same on the other side. The pleat at the back's just coming, as well as maybe a little bit in the zipper. I'll just see what it's like on the inside. These are always things that can come loose no matter what item you have. So maybe just gently tighten this up. That actually looks okay on the inside. I think it's just being pulled from where it's being worn. And there we go. So that's still got some stick left in it. And what I'm going to do is find the worst area, so I can see down here straight away. There's an area that needs worked on, Then I roll a deep hill very carefully by hand, and then use a sticky roller just to get up. I roll it with my finger first, then use a sticky roller. If you're using a sticky roller for all the bits that come off, you end up constantly changing the roll. So this part here is going to very gently just hold it taut to the top. Very gently start going down with the blade. You can see, because it's a brand new blade, barely any effort needs put in to get it up. So I'll ever so gently get it with my finger and then just roll up the rest. You want to be really careful around the seams, making sure you don't catch anything, because if there's a lump you could quite easily just slice through it. And there's a lovely deep-hilled part there. So I'm basically just going to continue doing that throughout the whole skirt, and finding the worst pilled parts, getting them up, and then wrapping it up. I do enjoy this actually. This is like my therapeutic work. I enjoy this so much that I actually have one of these at home, and certain jumpers certain materials can bobble and pill quite quickly. So sometimes I'll just sit at the kitchen table razoring all of my clothes. But it's amazing how much more fresh an item of clothing can look after it's been de-pilled, because pilling can grab onto a lot of things like hairs and little fibres, and when you take it off and smooth it down, it tends to just look cleaner. So it is very therapeutic. But also can be quite stressful, because when you're doing an item that isn't just a random jumper at home, you have to be extremely careful, making sure there's no mishaps. So I always take my time and always make sure I have a new clean razor, because the last thing you want is like a rusty razor that might get rust on the item, or a razor that's got a little snag in and that could catch the material. And you end up just with lots of pills and fibres, and it just gets the item in the best shape possible before you put it away. now I'm just going to go over it with the and the good thing about the gloves is when you rub it against the material, quite often it has an effect of kind of collecting it anyway, so there's not a great deal to get left on the roller, which is nice. Okay, I'm just going to have a quick look at the front. The front's actually not too bad. There's a little bit up here that I'm going to do. With pilling, it's usually the material where it's worn the most, so obviously if you wore the skirt, it's going to be where you sit down, or if when you sit down it can crease here. So there's not really any pilling here. It can also come from washing, but the most wear is usually from where you're wearing it while you're wearing it. So I'm just going to do this top piece because it's got quite a lot. And then what I want to do, I'm actually going to put it away because I want to fix the back properly, and we don't actually have the exact yellow in our storeroom at the moment, so I've put an order in for the yellow thread, and then when that arrives, then I can do the repairs and know that it's exactly as it is on the skirt. So let me just see if I can so I want to go in the direction of the material. Just nice and gentle and small, very small, controlled strokes. I do worry when I hear like clicking, but it's actually clicking the material. It usually isn't though. Lovely, so that whole area there has been detailed, and I'm not actually getting anything. If I'm going over it again, I'm not getting anything, so I know I've got it all. So I'm going to gently just roll it up and down with my glove. Take off the junk and then there we go. And that area of the skirt's all been cared for. And depilled. Give me that tiny bit in the corner. So at the moment this isn't going out for public view. We're just getting this collection in and preparing it for storage. I am not really have anything to do with the curation and what people see, and there's a whole new team for that, so they do that. We just process all of the items coming in. If something has been on display and we're taking it back in, then we will take a look at it before it goes back into storage. So I'm just going to wrap this very loosely because I'll be getting it out in a couple of days maybe, to fix up the seams and the zip, so you don't really need to wrap it as much as if it's going into proper deep storage. I just want to make sure it's not going to get anything spilt on it or snagged or anything. So and there we go. So I'm going to remove the razor. That's always the first thing I do. The last thing I do is put the handle away with a blade in it. Very, very important. So that, because it's still in pretty good nick, I will clean the fluff on it and then wrap it back up so I can use it on another item. I can probably get about 4 or 5 uses after one of these, and then tidy up and move on to something else. So thank you so much for being here. It's always wonderful to have you come in and look at my work. I do believe we have some jewellery for the next one, so I'll be cleaning up that jewellery for you, and then I'm not sure after that because we don't know what's actually coming in here. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please share it with your friends and like and subscribe. Is that what you guys say? Like and subscribe. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching me do my work. See you later.